Thursday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hope your morning is off to an awesome start. If you're on Facebook, please do us a solid. Like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. Smash that like button. All right, y'all. Let's see, share this out on YouTube. Do. All right, boom, got it. Right. Got there in the headline, LSU battling some camp injuries. Ed Ogeron met with the media last night. Kind of ran through some of them. They were a little banged up, some camp injuries. Doesn't seem like, aside from Miles Brennan and Glenn Logan, doesn't seem like any of them are going to linger into the season, except maybe Garrett Dellinger, who continues to remain absent from practice. Said it'll keep Derek Stingley out another week, although I don't think that's serious. I think it's just there's no reason. It's Derek Stingley. Like, there's just no reason to rush him back to camp. Ricks and TDP were all back. He did say Chasen Hines was battling a little injury. Anthony Bradford as well. So, just stuff. It's a great opportunity for some other guys to step up. All right, we'll say some good mornings here. See what y'all got popping. Hey, Megan Hurst, Kurt Taylor, Brian and Andy Pinton from Perth. Perthaboy, New Jersey. I don't know much about New Jersey, but this sounds like a strange place. Perthaboy, New Jersey. Either way, y'all be safe on the road today. Kelly Presley, Tommy Vienendahl, Jeff McKiffin, Chuck Sanchez. What's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Haven't been able to do that in a while. Welcome back, Chuck. Hope all is well. Kurt Taylor, all the reports about all the inconsistent quarterback play from the Saints camp, is it time to be concerned? No. I mean, Kirk, what have we learned that we didn't already know? I mean, we got to watch Taysom last year in 4 games not be very good. And if you really run him out there, the more film NFL defensive coordinators have on him, the worse he's going to look. And the other part of it, too, the Saints seem... Now, I'll grant you that in the preseason, you're not going to run your quarterback. But if you're not willing to run Taysom Hill, you voluntarily neutralize his greatest differentiator, which is his athleticism and his ability to run. If a defense doesn't have to respect his ability to run, then he becomes much less of a threat. But again, it's preseason, so I'm not going to put too much stock in it. As for Jameis, I mean, I don't know what Jameis is. I want to see on Sundays when the regular season starts if he makes better decisions with the football. That's all. Hey, Dad, good morning. Ben Dupuy, 2 weeks. Just rewatched the 2019 Bama game. Never gets old. It's true. One for the ages, man. Tim Witten, Tony Williams, good morning, good morning. Kirk, just hoping Winston would pull away, put this to bed. I think that a part of it is they're also keeping Taysom engaged, honestly. I mean, how do you really pull away in practice? Tim Gotro, good morning. Spurge, what's up? Brian says Facebook video is going on. So some people have been saying that that happened a while back, and I remember the fix at the time for everyone who's having that issue with Facebook was to if you're having that issue, tap the screen and you'll have the the back button, like the 10-second back button or forward pop up, just hit the 10-second back button so it backtracks the show by 10 seconds. So you're just watching on delay, but that should fix those buffering issues. Trivia Carter, good morning. Jonathan Martin, what's up? Pat Huseman, Joey Vincent, good morning. Amboy, Perth Amboy. I don't even know if that's a city. Like I don't know much about New Jersey geography. But either way, y'all be safe on the road today. All right, where are we? Ken Bro, good morning. Brian Wynn. Jerry Reynolds, morning, Matt. Will the Tigers be ready for UCLA? Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, I think you can also look at LSU's recent history in season openers as well, and it's been just fine. I mean, even if you just go to season openers under Ogeron, remember 17 they opened up against BYU, and the thing people forget about that is when they opened up against BYU, they got hit really hard in the secondary before that game. Remember, we found out Fulton was out. Greedy, as a redshirt freshman who had never taken a snap, had to start that game, if you remember. And that, I mean, Greedy went and had a great year, but I think he had a pick 6 in that game, and he never gave the job up. So that was a little bit of a boring game. LSU really didn't do much offensively, but they really put the clamps on them defensively. Did what they had to do to win. That was a game that was supposed to be in Houston, was moved to New Orleans because of Hurricane Harvey in Houston. But they were ready for that. 2018, of course, they opened up against Miami and controlled that game. 2019, they opened up against Georgia Southern, but I mean, that's when we saw them burrow through 4 or 5 touchdown passes that day, whatever it was. So they've been ready for their openers. I mean, well, I'll say then last year was Mississippi State, and that was a disaster. But I still put a giant asterisk next to last year as far as everything we saw, because I need more evidence. So I keep looking to this year to say, okay, was last year an outlier largely due to COVID and external forces? Or is it showed real flaws in this program? So we'll see. This year it will help us. But I think they're going to be fine against UCLA. I think it's going to be a tougher game than most are thinking it will be. For all the reasons I've said. UCLA plays week 0, so they'll have a game under their belt. Chip Kelly's in year 4 now. They got a 4-year starter at quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They returned 20 starters from a team that gagged away a couple of games. And just, I think they lost, all of their losses were by a combined 15 points last year. They showed improvement and just didn't finish some games. So anyway, I think UCLA is better than most here are expecting, but I do think LSU is going to win that game. Kirk Taylor watched the 2011 LSU Tennessee game. That defense was something else. Dooley in those orange pants. That game, I think I remember about that game is LSU had a long touchdown drive right before half. It was closer first half than we thought it should have been. And that was the game where P.J. Lonergan, we had heard he was injured, asked Les about it, said he was fine, and not only did Lonergan not play, he didn't even make the trip. But that game was LSU just ran over Tennessee in that game. Preston Schulze, if Ty Davis Price has the injury bug, do you think we will see running back by committee till one of them pulls away? Preston, if I have one criticism of Kevin Falk last year, it was I didn't like how he rotated the running backs. And I know listen, the obvious thing is to say, well, who are you to tell Kevin, you're right. But if that logic held, then no fan could ever be critical of any coach ever, and every coach would always be infallible, which isn't the case. I think there were instances where they went into games set on a rotation, on getting everybody, like, you have 2 series, you have 2, like, that happened against Auburn. And if I remember correctly, I'd have to pull out my chart. I don't know if I still have it. But Emory got off to a really hot start and then didn't touch the ball for like the next 3 or 4 series, because then they got Davis Price 2 series, then they got Bradford a series or whatever it was, and it was like by that point the LSU turned the ball over, game was out of hand. I would rather them have more of a feel for the game and go with a hot hand if somebody's popping. You know, I look. I did a thing on it yesterday or 2 days ago on AFR. I think John Emery is ready to break out. I think he's going to have a really good year this year. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Dustin Bolello, which running back do you think complements Emery with Ty Davis? Ty Davis Price, but he's back. Ed Ogeron said that yesterday, that Davis Price is back. Kirk, a 99-yard drive, just broke Tennessee's will. Yeah, there was one right before the end of half, wasn't it? Lenny Moss, good morning. Matt Godwin, good morning. Jared Clark, Honeycutt, morning, Matt. What's the mosquito device you have? I need something. Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. Go to Clegg's Nursery. There's a stand-up, one of those, cardboard stand-up display. There's a display. And it's a box. It comes in a box about, yay big. And there's 2 tubes in it. This big, but the size of a track baton. And it's plastic. It has little granules in it. You fill it with water. You shake it. You put the top back on. You put it on your property line. I'm telling you, it's amazing. We have a pool, and behind our pool is like a little pond thing. Anyway, and we don't have mosquitoes. We used to. We don't anymore. It's incredible. Ben Dupuy agreed. Emery is the man. I hope so, Ben, because and maybe it's more wishful thinking for me that it clicks for him this year, because I think they need someone with that versatility to have a big year. I think so often we marry ourselves to recruiting rankings and sometimes hold guys to unfair standards because of whatever their recruiting ranking was coming out of high school. And I think Emery's fallen a little bit into that, but here's hoping this is the year where he pops. Lowell Cormier, good morning. Hope all is well with you also. Let's see, jump back here on Facebook. Scott McClendon, I'm sorry, YouTube. Scott McClendon, morning, Matt. I smashed the like button. I think I heard myself doing so. I'll recover. 16 days until UCLA. I'll keep smashing that like button no matter what. Hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that greatly. By the way, I should have mentioned this also before. If you have not done so yet, and if you wouldn't mind, if you would subscribe to the AFR YouTube channels, there's an After Further Review Saints and an After Further Review LSU. If you could subscribe on those, hit the like button on the videos. That's a huge help there as well. Jerry DeLucky, good morning. Tim Gotro, hopefully when Scone gets mega rich from crypto, he creates a morning Scone platform to replace Facebook and YouTube. Well, Tim may have, to your point, if I get mega rich from crypto, maybe I will do a show on one of the blockchain apps, the dApps, the decentralized apps, which is a world that is coming. It's Web 3.0 that is here, and you're just learning more about it with NFTs and such. But the point of blockchain technology, aside from cryptocurrency or crypto assets, however you want to phrase them, is a decentralized internet, and that's really the benefit of it. That's going to allow blockchain technology to flourish. I mean, we'll keep all of our important documents on blockchain. We'll have apps on blockchain where Facebook can't kick you off because they don't like what you posted. It's decentralized. Nobody runs it. It just exists as a network of computers. So maybe I will do a show on one of the decentralized apps and have y'all come on over with me. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Haven't watched much of the Pac-12 last season. What, if any, problems does UCLA create for LSU? Dorian Thompson-Robinson's running ability. I would think typically a mobile quarterback wouldn't scare you because LSU's athleticism. But he's a 4-year starter. He's seen it all. he came back for a chance to have success because they just haven't won a lot of games since he's been there. And they returned their entire offensive line. So you got a veteran offensive line, a veteran quarterback. I mean, they've, and LSU's defense was awful last year. So here's hoping that they're better. Now, the one advantage, certainly, that I think LSU will have, among many, is size on the defensive front. I just don't think UCLA is going to practice against anybody that looks like LSU's defensive front seven. Stephen Miller, DTR, the quarterback for UCLA, is very experienced, will create problems for LSU. Scott McClendon, I'm even excited to watch the UCLA Hawaii game. You should be. I mean, I'm excited to watch that. I want to see how UCLA looks. I mean, Chip, in his time in Westwood there, UCLA has not won a non-conference game under Chip Kelly. They've not won a single non-conference game. That includes lost, I think, San Diego State and Fresno State. They lost to Oklahoma, I think San Diego State, Fresno State. I mean, last year, of course, their schedule got wiped. But, if they beat Hawaii, it's a significant win for UCLA. Let me rephrase that. Not a significant win. It's a milestone. It would be a milestone under Chip Kelly. Strand House on Manhattan Beach is the name of the place I couldn't remember last night. Great food and booze plus a Pacific view. Very cool. All right. I'm down, man. SPC 1689. Are all of these injuries part of this NIL stuff? All these guys worried about deals so they don't get hurt? Seems to be happening more than usual. No, that doesn't. Respectfully, that just doesn't make any sense. The injuries happen all the time in every camp. It's one of the reasons that, honestly, around this time of year when I do around the SEC, I do highlight stuff like that so you realize it's not just here. Georgia's starting center, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a cornerback have all gone down with injuries during this camp. It just happens. I mean, it's a physical game. Normally, we're conditioned a lot of times. Sorry, I'm waiting for his backpack to beep. We're conditioned a lot of times just to not have access to info. So, but none of them are super serious. Brian Andy Pant, when is Russ coming back on? Hopefully next week. If not next week is week 0. We have football next week, so I would hope next Wednesday he's back. Pegasus J, Matt, do we know how long Lattimore is out yet? If not, how long till the team finds out? That's a great question. Goodell, judge, jury, executioner, can do whatever he wants. I did actually go read the rule yesterday on the conduct policy because I was wondering, is there a baseline and how long would he be out? The baseline is for banned substances. That's why Onyemata's out 6 games. That's a baseline. And then if there's a violent or domestic crime, that your baseline. Because Lattimore's was nonviolent, and they also have a clause in there for the player's record. Have you been in trouble before? And because Lattimore has not been in trouble, and because it was a nonviolent crime, there is the option that the NFL can either fine, suspend, or a combination of both. And this wasn't, look, he was arrested in March. It was March. I mean, maybe they're waiting for the legal process to play out. And if the charges are dropped, maybe he gets off without a suspension, which would be great. I don't know if I really believe that will happen, but the longer this goes, it feels like there might be a possibility. Russ said he was coming back on this week or next to light the fires. I mean, it would have been yesterday, right? On Wednesday. So I'm guessing it'll be next week. Let's see. Brian, wish the band was going. Yeah, that's a bummer. Jerry DeLucky, Emory getting his eyes taken care of will be the difference. The history of the past LSU players doing the same is proving that. Remember, Jerry, and Dr. Blake Williamson did Emery surgery. He did it last year. So Emery had his LASIK done before last season. So take that for what it's worth. All right, as always, I'll shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock in the Roof. Call HUDCO. Yeah, so anyway, Jerry, a point is with Emery, I mean, I hope you're right, and it certainly can't hurt, but if that were the basis of it, then that would have held true last year. Let's see, Jeffrey Parrott, morning Scone. I hate masks and fall weddings during college football season. I hope you have a great day and smash that like button. Thank you, Jeffrey. But if wearing a mask gets us full stadiums, okay. Trivia, I would have your optimism, but Roger Goodell hates the Saints. I don't disagree with you, Trivia. That's part of the reason why I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful. I think there is a difference. Oh, God. I'm so far behind on comments on Facebook. My apologies. I'm going to go rapid fire because I got to get rolling. Kirk, sorry to keep bringing up 2011. It's been 10 years from that season. The game has changed so much. I am PO'd that LSU doesn't have another title flag in Tiger Stadium. Actually, this is the 10 and 20-year anniversaries of great teams. Of course, 10-year anniversary of 2011 and the 20-year anniversary of 2001, LSU's first SEC championship game team against Tennessee, of course. Matt Malk. Sweet. Yeah, your take on Shepard was spot on. I hope Mason Smith doesn't fall into that too. Yeah, I mean, look, it was Russell Shepard. It was Freak Johnson. That's sometimes it happens, guys. Matt, how do you see the linebackers shaking out? I believe. Do you think Baker and Jones have helped clear up some of the deficiencies from last year? Yeah, I think last year the bigger deal was personnel. Pelini was the problem, but I also think you had guys playing out of position. But I think your starting linebackers. I think I don't know how often you'll have three on the field, but hopefully Mike Jones can play inside along with Baskerville, and then you'll have Damone Clark. On the outside, then we'll see, Bug Strong where he fits as well. But yeah, I think you have enough guys there. You should have enough. Kyle DeVille, Morningstar, seems like there's a lot of positive talk about Ian Book. Think it's positive rhetoric, or do you get the feeling he could be more than a Chase Daniels? I don't think he'll ever be a starter, but I think he'd be a serviceable backup in the NFL, and he's going to make the team. Ben Dupe, we have an English teacher guy. Got it. The Eeyore, I saw it. Charlie Cavell, last time LSU played a Chip Kelly coach team, the Honey Badger took over. I remember it well. It was also the 2011 season. Game's changed a lot since then. Chip Kelly doesn't run his blur anymore. They don't do the thing they did back then. He's changed his offense. And I think LSU's offense has changed a bit too since that one. Matt Godwin, I know our defense was bad, very bad last year, but absolutely do not believe it was because of talent. They had guys out of place, Matt. I mean, there's no question about that. Like, you were bad at safety. And you had guys out of place at linebacker. There's no question. They weren't, but they still shouldn't have been the worst defense ever. That was coaching. Nebraska got the NCAA snooping around due to misuse of analysts on the field. That's everybody. I mean, when Jerry Sullivan was an analyst, he was basically the receivers coach. I mean, anyway. That's why you got to avoid lack of institutional control. If you just pull the curtain back and say, "Come on, do whatever," you don't get it twisted. Everybody uses analysts on the field. Everybody. Everybody. And unless if your own compliance department is turning you in, the NCAA doesn't have spies looking over the fence at practice, like with binoculars, seeing if one of your analysts is coaching someone on the field. But everybody does that. Everybody. I gotta go. What do you think the UCLA strategy on how to attack us on all sides of the ball will be? I don't know. Have enough time. Okay, I gotta go. All right, y'all have a great day. I'm sorry to run. I got to get Drew up and got to get him to school. So, as always, shout out to Brock and Hudco, tagged in the Facebook post. Locked in LSU coming up later this morning. AFR at 3. We'll see y'all. Have an awesome day.